What's going on, everybody? Kyle here. Uh, Bored dad. Girl is down for the night. My daughter, who got her first haircut today. Sad I missed out on that, but she looks wonderful. Mom is upstairs working on her YouTube video, so we got a little time. We'll do some commentary. As you can see, I'm about ready to game. Little NHL 17 because don't got the monies for 18. Not much different anyway, but hey, new rosters. I was thinking about this the other day for tonight's commentary. I went back and looked at an old NHL entry draft, which I love doing redrafts. Me and one of my friends back home, we always would redraft and see how things would go and where teams messed up. Being a Rams fan and he's a Raiders fan, we had to do a lot of those. 1996, nothing nice. But I wanted to talk about where the St. Louis Blues went completely wrong. And anyone who's a diehard Blues fan or a hockey guy would know it's the '06 draft. After the '05-06 season, which I will not talk about on this channel at all, dumpster fire, I'll just leave it at that, we got the number one pick. And I guess the rationale of the front office was we just lost Chris Pronger in a trade. We need to draft a franchise number one defenseman. And Eric Johnson was who we took with the first pick. Now he's still in the league. He's been a solid top four defenseman. I think he's an alternate captain for Colorado right now. I didn't want to, guess wrong with that, but I believe he's an alternate with them. And he's like I said, he's developed into a very steady two-way defenseman, productive and reliable. That's not a franchise game-changing defenseman. He's not a Drew Doughty or an Eric Carlson. We didn't get that guy. We thought we were getting probably a Chris Pronger type. He was about 6'4", say about 220 now. I'd say he's probably about 205 when he came in the league. But big kid, really good skater, good shot, responsible defensively. We just thought that he was the can't miss. Boy, did we miss. Now, like I said, Johnson's not a bad player. And honestly, looking at the way he is now, I wouldn't mind having him in our defense group. I mean, maybe trade out Bortuzzo, but Bortuzzo also can fight, so we need a guy like that. Um, why we missed out so badly, it resonates with the way the roster is made up today. Stanley Cups are usually won by these three um, beliefs, at least that I believe: forecheck, back check, paycheck. If you're missing one of those, it's goaltending. But that's just me. Sometimes teams have won Stanley Cups with less than stellar goaltending. More often than not, it's with a dominant goaltender. But forecheck and back check, meaning you need to have a great center or a great defenseman to anchor everybody else on the ice. Usually, teams win that have tremendous number one centers. Red Wings teams of the 90s, 2000s, the early 2000s, Dallas in '99, the Avalanche with their two Stanley Cups. I mean, come on, they had two number one centers the way the Penguins do. They have Crosby, Malkin. The Avalanche had Sakic and Forsberg. You can't beat them. Both of those guys are in the Hall of Fame. Crosby and Malkin are going to be in the Hall of Fame. The Penguins have two number one centers. At number three in that draft, the Chicago Blackhawks, our favorite hockey team, took Jonathan Toews. Both Toews and Johnson debuted in the '07-'08 season. I believe Johnson was a late season call up because he didn't start with the big roster. Toews did. And Toews finished, I believe, second or third in the Calder race behind Nicholas Backstrom and Patrick Kane. We missed out on basically our generation's Steve Yzerman, so to speak, because Toews, like Yzerman, fantastic in the faceoff circle, fantastic defensively, and a very dependable offensive threat. And he's a great leader. We have not had a number one center that would be deemed a number one center on elite level teams. Look at the guys that we've had in the last decade. David Backes, who was not a natural center, would be on some teams a number one center. On a handful of teams, probably a number two, or he would play number one line right wing. Andy McDonald on some teams would have been considered a number one center, especially with the I want to say 3 years he had with Anaheim that he lit the league on fire. But on some teams he'd be a number two center or a number one left winger, as he played some left wing in his career. Right now we're sitting with Paul Stastny, and we're not getting young rookie year behind Joe Sakic Paul Stastny. It's more of a solid playmaking number two center having to play a number one role. He, as of now, will stand as our number one center. Maybe Braden Shen, who I still believe has not fully developed into hitting his potential, as he's a top five draft pick from his draft year, which I believe is 2009. Um, we really missed the boat there. You take a look at the teams that have won Stanley Cups in the last decade. I can go back to the first year after the lockout, 2006 with Carolina. Eric Stahl, at the time, deemed a franchise center. And they had Rod Brindamore, who on some teams at the time, despite his age, would have been a number one center. So they had that depth. They also had Doug Waite, which they got from us, so congratulations. We gave you one of your players a Stanley Cup. Look at the 06-07 Ducks, who Andy McDonald, on about half the teams in the league, is a number one center at the time, but that team was anchored by having two Hall of Fame defensemen and possibly a Hall of Fame goalie in J.S. Jaguar. The Red Wings, Datsuk, Zetterberg, enough said. Penguins, gone on about them. Even the Kings with their two Stanley Cups. Anze Kopitar's a number one center. Blackhawks, 3 Stanley Cups, number one center. What are we missing here? Bingo. A number one center that we could have taken and saved all of our troubles, potentially. Also, with the number two pick in that draft, by the number one pick, we missed out on another center. Guy doesn't have a Stanley Cup, but he's a number one guy, Nicholas Backstrom. Really, really missed out there. It's amazing how the course of franchises can be changed with one pick. It is amazing. Just ask the New England Patriots. And a little food for thought. Pick 198 in that draft with Tom Brady belonged to the Rams. Go figure. Yeah, that one hurts too. Granted, we didn't need a quarterback at the time because we had Trent Green and Kurt Warner, but Tom Brady. Yeah. But, guys, that's my commentary, and that's how I would have fixed the Blues. Because, yeah, the whole team was bad, but you can rebuild with a franchise center. Look what it did for the Penguins and Crosby. That changed everything for them. Same thing happened with when they got Lemieux, which, truth be told, they actually tanked to get him on purpose. But you see my point. Franchise centers can really change the course of a franchise. I should have said that word a lot tonight, but it's true. We've gone through a heavy rotation of guys trying to find our number one center for the last 11 years. Hope Braden Shen is that guy for now. We also have some others that could roll over play center. Robbie Fabry, if he ever stays healthy because he got hurt again. Barbashev, Tajay Thompson, Robert Thomas. And we got a lot of guys that potentially could be a number one dude. But we don't have a Taves. We don't have a Backstrom. Say what you want about how old he is. Jumbo Joe Thornton. We don't have a Pavelski. We don't have a McJesus, Draisaitl. I could go on and on about all the teams that have number one centers, and we don't. The exception to the rule of getting to the finals without a true number one pivot, Nashville last year, Calgary in 2004, Edmonton in 06, those teams were, lunch pail type of teams that won with great goaltending and defense, where the majority of these teams have won because they had overwhelming offensive ability, good defense, and sometimes elite out of this world goaltending. Last year we got a taste of the elite goaltending. Our defense is in place. Our offense disappeared. And we need a table setter in the middle. We could have had that guy with one pick, but kind of missed the boat there, and we basically gave 3 Stanley Cups to Chicago, which no one likes. This one doesn't. I know a lot of the Blues fans in the I Bleed Blue group which this video will be going up to, won't like it either. I'm just saying, we could have fixed everything with one pick. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. This will be going up on the YouTube and also up on my personal Facebook page. If you're a friend of mine, cool, you can check it out. Hope you like it. And in the I Bleed Blue fan group. Hope you guys dig it well. Anyway, until next time, let's go Blues.